Changes for US vaccinated dogs that have been in a high-risk country. On July 31, 2025, CDC's one-year transition period from the dog importation regulation update ended. There are two changes associated with the end of the transition period. USDA-endorsed export health certificates issued after July 31, 2025, are no longer accepted for re-entry into the United States. The certification of US-issued rabies vaccination form may no longer be issued retroactively after a dog has departed the United States. There are two documents CDC requires before your dog returns to the US if your dog was vaccinated against rabies in the US and has been in a high-risk country for dog rabies in the 6 months before returning to the US. Requirements include the CDC Dog Import Form receipt. You complete this form online. It will only take a few minutes if you have the required information available. A certification of US-issued rabies vaccination form. This form is filled out by a US Department of Agriculture, USDA-accredited veterinarian before the dog departs the US, and is endorsed by the USDA. If your dog was issued a USDA-endorsed export health certificate no later than July 31, 2025, you can use the health certificate multiple times in place of the certification of US-issued rabies vaccination form as long as it was digitally endorsed by USDA, includes the dog's age, at least 6 months, includes the dog's microchip number, and includes the dog's current and valid, not expired, US-issued rabies vaccination information. Usually, the vaccine lasts for 1 or 3 years. The rabies vaccination must also have been administered after the dog's microchip was inserted. With these forms, your dog can enter the US at any airport, seaport, or land border crossing, as long as the port of entry matches the one listed on your CDC Dog Import Form receipt. What else is required for dogs from high-risk countries? In addition to the forms above, dogs must appear healthy upon arrival. Dogs must be at least 6 months old at time of entry or return to the US. Dogs must have a microchip that can be detected with a universal scanner to identify them. The microchip must be implanted before getting the rabies vaccine, or else the vaccine will be invalid. The microchip number must be included on all required forms and supporting documents. Complete the CDC Dog Import Form online. A receipt will be emailed to you upon submission of the form. You can print the receipt or show it on your phone. Who completes the form? This form should be completed by the person importing, bringing the dog into the United States, the importer, owner, or shipper. If you are completing the form on behalf of an importer who has difficulty completing this form, read the statements aloud to the importer and confirm they understand the information provided and agree to the terms of acceptance. How much does it cost? Free. If you are bringing more than one dog to the United States, you must complete a separate form for each dog. You can fill out the form on the day of travel. We recommend completing it a few days before travel. If anything changes, like date of travel or port of entry, you must submit a new form. What information will you need to complete the form? Photo of dog. Please upload a recent picture, JPG, PNG, GIF files only, of your dog, showing its face and body. Dogs under 1 year old should have their photograph taken within 15 days before travel to the US microchip number. Make sure to enter your dog's microchip number accurately into this form. You can typically find this number on a dog's veterinary records. How long is the form's receipt valid? The receipt is valid for a single entry into the US and is valid for entry only on the date of arrival listed on the receipt. The form can be submitted any time before travel, except for dogs less than 1 year of age whose photo should be taken within 15 days before travel to the US. How do you show the form's receipt to officials? CDC Dog Import Form receipt can be printed or shown on a phone screen to US customs officials or airlines, if applicable. Make sure all the information on the form, including the arrival port for your dog, is accurate before your dog arrives. If any information changes before departure, you must submit a new form and indicate that you are changing an existing form. The dog can arrive at any airport, land border crossing, or seaport as long as the arrival location matches what is listed on the CDC dog import form receipt. Certification of US-issued rabies vaccination form. A USDA-accredited veterinarian must complete this document and submit it to the USDA for endorsement before the dog departs the United States. Who completes the form? A USDA-accredited veterinarian completes the form. This can be the veterinarian who gave the dog their vaccine or another veterinarian that is USDA-accredited. Check with your veterinary clinic whether there is a USDA-accredited veterinarian in the practice. How much does it cost? Costs are determined by the veterinarian and the USDA. Visit USDA's website for a list of USDA costs. Contact the veterinarian to request the costs for their services. Where can I find the form? The veterinarian can visit documents for veterinarians to complete for importing a dog into the US, where they will find the form instructions and a link to the system used to complete the form. The veterinarian will complete the form in USDA's online system and submit it to USDA for endorsement. You can get a copy of the certification of US-issued rabies vaccination form from the veterinarian once it has been officially endorsed by USDA. When should the form be completed? Your dog must meet specific requirements, like being microchipped and having a valid rabies vaccination, before the veterinarian can complete the form. If your dog is receiving its first rabies vaccine, your dog must be at least 12 weeks, 84 days old at the time of vaccination, and the form must be completed at least 28 days after the vaccine was administered. The form must be completed before the dog departs the United States. How long is the form valid? You can use this form multiple times to bring your dog back to the US, as long as your dog's rabies vaccine is still valid. Usually the vaccine lasts for 1 or 3 years. How do I show the form to officials? The document must be signed electronically by a USDA-accredited veterinarian and endorsed by USDA, then printed. You must bring the form and present it to the airline, if applicable, and US Customs and Border Protection upon arrival in the US. A USDA-endorsed export health certificate issued no later than July 31st, 2025. If your dog was issued a USDA-endorsed export health certificate no later than July 31st, 2025, you can use the health certificate multiple times in place of the certification of US-issued rabies vaccination form as long as it was digitally endorsed by USDA, includes the dog's age, at least 6 months, includes the dog's microchip number, and includes the dog's current and valid, not expired, US-issued rabies vaccination information. Usually, the vaccine lasts for 1 or 3 years. The rabies vaccination must also have been administered after the dog's microchip was inserted. If you do not have a USDA-endorsed export health certificate issued on or before July 31st, 2025, then this option is not available, and you will need to get a certification of US-issued rabies vaccination form before the dog leaves the United States. If your dog does not have either of these forms, you will need to follow the entry requirements for foreign vaccinated dogs from high-risk countries. Travel checklist for US vaccinated dogs from rabies. High-risk countries. Step 1. 60 days or more before travel to a high-risk country. Get your dog microchipped or have your veterinarian verify their microchip number. Be sure to have your dog microchipped before the rabies vaccination. Make sure dog's rabies vaccination will not expire during travel. If needed, take your dog to the veterinarian to get its rabies vaccination or booster Begin airline reservation process, if applicable. Step 2. 30 days before travel out of the United States. Ask a USDA-accredited veterinarian to complete a certification of US-issued rabies vaccination form. As an alternative to the certification of US-issued rabies vaccination form, CDC will accept a USDA-endorsed export health certificate issued no later than July 31, 2025. To be valid for re-entry, the export health certificate must be digitally endorsed by USDA, include the dog's age, at least 6 months, include the dog's microchip number, and include the dog's current and valid, not expired, US-issued rabies vaccination information. The rabies vaccination must also have been administered after the dog's microchip was inserted. We recommend traveling with at least 3 copies of the completed government-endorsed document in case the destination country and the airline of your return flight keep copies for their records. Step 3. The week of travel back to the United States. Finalize travel arrangements with the airline or transport company as needed. Complete the CDC dog import form. Step 4. Day of travel back to the United States. Arrive at the location on the CDC dog import form receipt. Be ready to show the following documents to airlines, cruise ships, and US Customs and Border Protection: CDC dog import form receipt, and a certification of US-issued rabies vaccination form endorsed by the USDA, or a valid USDA-endorsed export health certificate. The export certificate option is only available for certificates issued on or before July 31, 2025.